Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. See our Daredevil once again in another episode of our WCW series, but this time it's a little different because this time we're not doing a Nitro, we're not doing a pay-per-view, we are simply doing a recap. It is recap time in the WCW world. We're going to kind of recap the fact that this is the 1 year anniversary of this series. It started 1 year ago. Technically 1 year ago next week. You'll be seeing this episode the final week of August, or the final Monday of August, and then the following Monday, which will be Labor Day, will be the 1 year anniversary of this series officially. But I figured now is a better time than ever. Instead of not having an episode at all in the series this week, now would be a good time to kind of do a little bit of a reflection on the series, a little bit of recap, a little bit of looking at other stuff that you guys wouldn't normally see happening on the regular episodes. So it might be a little bit longer of an episode this time, but we're going to kind of recap some stuff. So as you see, we have our office screen here. There's not really anything to spoil on here, so I don't have to worry about showing you guys anything at all. The Eric Bischoff turning heel thing is actually going to be canceled, so you don't have to worry about that. At one point, we are controlling Eric Bischoff over, and at one point I had thought about writing him off and then having him return as a member of the New World Order, but then I was able to secure Ted DiBiase, so that kind of changed that. Originally, I was going to use Eric Bischoff as kind of the voice of the group, kind of similar to what Ted DiBiase is, over, but since that didn't end up happening, we kind of changed our mind about it. As you see, we got some broadcasting deals that are coming to an end. Kind of explain that a little bit. However, you got some people with some morale issues. I've got them managed how I want them managed at this point. We have 69 wrestlers. Nice. So that's kind of funny. But yeah. So as you saw in the last episode, we officially moved up to big size. We're still number 2 in the world, though. We're still behind the WWF. But we are officially number 2. We are officially big size at this point. That's going to help when it comes to contract stuff, which is ironic because all of these broadcasting deals are coming to an end. However, I just got done. Redoing new broadcasting deals on there. So kind of ironic because I could have re-signed some of the ones that are coming to an end because they just didn't want. They didn't want our company at the time because we weren't big size. But we'll spend 6 months on some other ones, and then we'll kind of explore our options from there. Nevertheless, we're at big size now. Popularity, as you see there, kind of progress-wise. As you see, we have jumped up quite a bit over a year's time. We started off with 55 in the Southeast and 45 everywhere else back in September of last year. And we are now up to 82 in the Southeast, 77 in some areas there, 76 in some other areas, and then 74 in Hawaii. So across the board, about a 30, some regions have a 30 plus point increase, some regions slightly under 30 plus, but still a pretty good increase. I will definitely take it for sure. And it definitely did help that we got some bigger stars. That's why you kind of saw the bigger jump as of late, but hey, I'll still take it. I will still take it for sure. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. Money wise, as you can see, we're up to $28.5 million. I'm going to apologize if there's like a wind effect in the background. I have my windows open today because it's a gorgeous day out. But all of a sudden the wind decided to pick up right when I started recording this. So as you can see, we have ourselves $28 million in the bank. If you'll notice there in April of 1996, we had a almost $10 million decline. That is because I don't know if I announced it on screen or not, but that's when we opened up the WCW power plant. I know it was a little bit earlier than it was in real life, but I figured why the hell not. So we have the power plant going. The power plant is a performance center in the game, meaning that it will train people, and we won't actually see that effect for a year's time. So it won't be until April of 97 that we start seeing any sort of graduates from there. But what it also does over in TEW 2020 is, as a performance center, it also allows us to send people down and work in the Performance Center while they're still on the main roster. So we do have, I think, 10 total people that are on our roster right now that are down working in the Performance Center, as well as getting better and increasing their stuff and whatnot. So, but yeah, continuing to grow performance-wise there. Only had a little under $500,000 increase in August, but that's because we didn't run a pay-per-view that month. Otherwise, that would have been that there over. But to be fair, I mean, we still turned a profit even when we're not running a pay-per-view, so that's pretty impressive, honestly. Not only that, but we finally hit over $1 million for our sponsorship money, so that's pretty good too. As you can see there, 94% prestige, 99% momentum. We are just continuing to grow really quickly, continuing to rocket for sure. Creative-wise, let's go look at some of the stuff on here really quick. We'll kind of look at the world around us, around WCW in a little bit too, but creative-wise right now, franchise players, Sting is still number one, former WCW World's Heavyweight Champion. He's still the number one guy in the company. Bret Hart is number two, of course, the quote-unquote leader of the New World Order. There's not really a for sure leader of the New World Order because they're all just kind of one collective group, but if you had to say one person was a leader, it would be Bret Hart. So he's kind of the primary heel at this point. Brian Pillman, number three, which is huge. Not that Brian Pillman didn't already have the skills to become a mega star at some point in the future anyway, but the fact that we've been able to get him up to number 3 status in a roster full of potential big names is really impressive, especially because he's even better to the company than Randy Savage and Ric Flair, who round out the top 5 there. So that's huge as well. Of course, Randy Savage, the number 1 contender for the World's Heavyweight Championship at Fall Brawl, coming in number 4, and then number 5, the leader of the Horsemen, Ric Flair there. Next big things. So, I don't know if he's actually debuted on Nitro yet, but we did sign this crazy rookie that had a lot of hype behind him because he's a 3rd-generation star, this Rocky Maivia. I don't know if he's ever going to become anything in the world, but I don't think he's actually debuted on Nitro yet, but he's been working some dark matches and worked a couple of Saturday night shows so far. Just kind of building him up. Just so we're clear, because it's not like I am trying to cheat at the game or anything like that, but just so we're clear, the game actually suggested I hire him. So I wasn't going to initially, but then the game, in the hidden gem section, he popped up on that list, and I'm like, all right, well, if the game thinks WCW would benefit from having him, then I'll try him out. And of course, Jesse James Armstrong is also on that list for next big things. We'll have to see how things play out with him. He's currently away right now, but we'll have to see how things play out in the future with him. Hot prospects, we have Rocky Maivia number 1, of course. Ultimo Dragon, who's still kind of lingering around. It's hard to kind of push Ultimo Dragon right now because he's working part-time with us and working a bunch of other companies. Like, every time I put him into a match, he's always asking for time to heal afterwards because he's just working too much elsewhere. But I don't think I could sign him away from any of the Japan companies, so he's just kind of there for us at this point, unfortunately. Jesse James Armstrong, of course, number 3 there. Bull Nakano, number 4, who we're going to try to build our women's division around. Again, like I mentioned in previous episodes, it's kind of hard to have a women's division right now because there's just really not a lot of success in the time I was trying to push it, but Bull Nakano is in our hot prospects section there at number 4. And then, of course, Das Wunderkind, Saturday Night Fever, Alex Wright, number 5 there. Still kind of lingering around. Didn't really have a lot going for him for a little while there, but now he's back in the TV title picture, feuding with Chris Jericho over that championship and all that. So, gonna have to see how things play out with him. He's only 21 years old at this point, so don't be surprised if he doesn't really start getting a really good push until 97, 98 in this save. Just because he's still got that youth with him that we could build him up for future success and see how things play out from there. Talk the talk, Savage, Flair, Austin, Pillman, and Roddy Piper. Showstoppers, Pillman, Sting, Eddie Guerrero, Bret Hart, and Ric Flair. Ring Generals, Flair, Benoit, Hart, Dean Malenko, and Sting. who's hot and who's not. I don't really pay attention to momentum too much, but who's hot, as you can see, Cactus Jack, insane amount of momentum right now. Even after losing that match to Randy Savage at the pay-per-view, he still has an insane amount of momentum. Whereas he just showed up last week on Nitro to help save Austin Guerrero and Johnny B. Bad from the New World Order. We're gonna have to see on this coming episode of Nitro what that was all about, why he did that and all that. Ric Flair's up there, Randy Savage, Pillman, and the Giant. Obviously, 5 guys who've been getting pushed pretty decently. So that kind of makes sense that they're there. Who's not? Road Warrior Animal is the only one without any sort of momentum right now. The Road Warriors just have been kind of squandering a little bit there. I have some plans for them coming up. I just need to get to that point. And then Hidden Gems as of right now for us. Raven, who I am eventually going to try to get from ECW, but I don't want to cheese it and get him right now, especially because I feel like we kind of already have a little bit too many people on our roster as it is. In fact, we're going to be getting rid of some people here in the next few months or so. But he's one that's still at the top of that list, obviously, and still can be brought in the future. Steve Corino, he's one I'm going to let build on the indies for a few years before I even consider going out and getting him. Because I've got too many young guys on the roster right now that are young, talented guys who should probably have spent some time on the indies first before going to somewhere like WCW. So I'm going to let Corino kind of stay on the indies. But if WWF goes and tries to make an offer to him, I might consider pulling him in early. Bubba Ray Dudley, might eventually consider bringing in the Dudleys on a part-time deal, but I haven't fully decided yet for sure. Ice Train, obviously not bringing him in. And then Sexton Hardcastle, a.k.a. Adam Copeland. Same with him and Christian Cage, just ones that I'm letting build up on the indies for a few years before I consider reaching out to them to bring them in. So that is that there. Roster-wise, we'll look at the roster right now. So, as you can see, roster's still kind of here. You've probably seen most of these guys on TV or on the Nitros over happening. Get a few people we'll kind of go over. I did want to go over, Arn Anderson is still here, by the way, even though we have no idea when he's returning. But Bam Bam Bigelow is one I definitely wanted to go over. So, Bam Bam Bigelow, of course, is an interesting one. He started off in WCW kind of a lower tier one, and we've built him up all the way to being the WCW World's Heavyweight Champion. Popularity-wise, he was kind of in the 65, 70 range back when he started this. He's all the way up to 82 now. He's kind of hit his max when it comes to popularity boost. Winning the world title kind of boosted him up to an 82, and he's kind of hit that limit where he doesn't seem to be getting any more popular, but at the same time, he's still one of the more popular wrestlers in the company. So I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, he's kind of hit that limit. He's kind of hit that ceiling, so to speak, when it comes to popularity-wise. Still got some plans for him to continue on as he's still the world's heavyweight champion right now. Whether he wins or loses at Fall Brawl, still have plans for him to continue on past that. Obviously, without giving away too much there. Canada, he's up to in the 70s as well. Everywhere else, kind of getting there. Japan, he's in a decent range there. Skill-wise, as you can see, pretty decent skills. His skills are still continuing to increase, which is a good thing. He hasn't hit that part where he's plateaued and is getting worse. However, he's still increasing, so that's a good thing. That means that we still have a good few years from him before we have to worry about him starting to decline physically-wise. The only problem with him, really, outside of this psychology, that's only 69, really, which, nice, but still. The only big problem with him, really, is just his stamina. His stamina, which, as you can see there, went up in January, however, now it's starting to decline, so he's starting to get to the point where he's not going to be able to do as much stamina-wise. But otherwise, he's still been pretty good for us outside of that. So we'll kind of continue to see how he progresses as time goes on. As you see some of the other guys that are still on here. Booker T is one I wanted to look at because Booker T, as you can see, popularity-wise, is insanely popular all of a sudden. He was down in the 50s, 60s range at the start of the save. Even lost some popularity for a few months there. And then we just started jumping him up, getting him up there. And then the last few months, feuding, or being a part of the world title feud and being a part of the feud with Sting and Luger has just skyrocketed him. Like, he is easily one of the most popular people in the company right now. As you see there, with some of 6 different areas where he's got 85 popularity. That's insane. Seeing as how he is, at this point, just one half of Harlem Heat. He's not even really doing too much solo-wise. I mean, he did have the match with Lex Luger, but he's not even doing much solo-wise. He's just getting insanely popular by being a part of that storyline, to the point that he's actually more popular overall than our World's Heavyweight Champion. So that's kind of a crazy thing. But yeah, he's definitely getting up there. Not really any plans to split up Harlem Heat anytime soon. Going to continue using them in the tag team division, but they might start doing some single stuff at some point too. Might be one of those things, kind of like how they did in real life, where they were still a tag team, but they also pursued single stuff. Because, of course, in real life, Booker T won the WCW Television Championship kind of in 97, 90, like late 97-ish over, but was still part of Harlem Heat for a while afterwards. So it might be something like that we do. Bret Hart, of course, is here. Not really a huge amount of stuff we can talk about with him because he's only been here for a few months. He's only had a few matches, but popularity-wise, as you see, he's still there. He's still at that level. Still doing great for us overall. He's only had a few matches with us so far. Yeah, he's only had 2 matches so far with us. He's had the match that he made his debut in at the Bash of the Beach, and then he had the one match with Billy Kidman. So it's good to he's not quite hitting the levels that he was in WWF consistently, but he's still having good matches, and I'm not complaining about that at all. Brian Pillman's definitely one we want to look at. He's definitely a major star at this point. He's up there in the 80s for popularity wise. Of course, like I said, he started off the save kind of low 50s, 60s. At one point, he actually was in July. He actually was kind of flirting with the 85s in a few regions, but then kind of went a little bit down popularity-wise over the last couple months, simply because he's kind of changed his feud from that big high heat feud with Eddie Guerrero to now kind of feuding with Dustin Rhodes, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, he can't feud with the same person for years, however. So, but feuding with Dustin Rhodes, he's kind of he's getting some other stuff done, and it's kind of interesting. I'm not complaining at all about that. He's definitely had some decent success too. We'll kind of look at overall here. All the years over so far in the past year, he's 15-11-1. So not a great record for him, but he's had those high profile matches, and you can even see that there too. You can see where some of his earlier stuff, he was 70s, low 80s, all that stuff. And then you go look at all the way up to like his recent matches, and it's like mid 80s, just killing it match wise recently. So ever since we got him the US title, and he's been kind of running with that over. He's just been on a roll with it. So definitely a good thing that he is the United States champion. Cactus Jack is another one who's been getting pushed pretty decently. He'd actually just re-signed a deal with us about a couple months ago, I think it was. So he's locked in for at least another couple of years with us here. Cactus he was at 70 for a while, then he kind of dipped a little bit because we kind of had him losing a little bit during that time. Didn't really do a whole lot, and then the feud with Randy Savage definitely brought him back up popularity-wise. I kind of got him to becoming a bigger star at this point now. And his skills are just continuing to increase across the board, which is always a good thing as well. One thing I guess I could go back here really quick. So Alex Wright, like I said, he's one of them that, as you see there, it says attending the WCW Power Plant. Like I said, he's one of a handful of people who are attending the Power Plant and getting built up as he is. Popularity-wise, he's there. He's gotten a lot more popular over the save than he did before, for sure. In fact, he got a big jump the last couple months here. So he's he's getting that push. But obviously I don't want to like super push him yet because he is so young still, and I don't want to start pushing him to the freaking moon yet, and until he's really ready skill wise to get up there. Because as you see, his skills are kind of a little rough. He's still working on them, but his in ring skills, his best rating is a 54 for aerial. So I mean, it's gonna be a little bit before he can really be able to perform out there and have really good quality matches. 56 psychology and all that stuff like that. So, I feel like him being in the TV title level right now is probably a good thing for him. Jericho's another one I kind of want to look at really quick. Jericho is one who we just recently signed to an actual written deal. He was under a handshake deal with us because he was also working a couple of other places. And every single time we used him, he kept getting, time to heal after the matches. So I said, you know what, screw it. We're going to offer him a written deal. So he's under a written deal now. It's a 4-year written deal. And yeah, his popularity has been, he's been getting there. Obviously current television champion. His popularity has definitely been increasing. Obviously before, like, he signed in earlier this year, so it's not a great way to look at his early stuff because he wasn't really a part of a WCW, or he wasn't really part of an American company at that point. He was still working in Mexico and Japan, so he wasn't gaining anything popularity wise in the US. But then as you see in March, that's when we hired him on, and he started increasing popularity wise, and then he really had that big boost the last couple months again, getting featured a little bit more, getting part of the TV title match in Bash of the Beach, and kind of feuding with the TV title there and all that. So definitely getting up there popularity wise, getting himself more popular and more set for potential future in WCW. Let's see some other guys. Diamond Dallas Page is another good one to look at. Page, of course, is a star rating right now. He's trying to join the Horsemen. Popularity wise, he's definitely increased. His has kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster, as you see there. He's kind of had some ups and downs there. But he's kind of about, just under where he, his most popular run so far. It's going to be kind of hard to really push him, as a big future star for us. Like, they didn't realize WCW because of the fact that he's 40 years old already. And in TEW, this is when they're going to start, like around this time is when they start to plateau skill wise and then start declining. And so it's kind of hard to push him as like a big star. It's kind of a weird thing. Something I was kind of hoping TW 2020 would change a little bit, but it really hasn't. So you're going to see like his stamina is already starting to go down. So it's kind of hard to keep him really relevant. And that's why I'm trying to get him as many matches as I can recently and trying to get him, really featured, especially in tag team settings, over kind of get him really featured and try to get as much out of him as I can before TW just decides, you know what, he's declining. He's an old man. He's declining by. So there's that for us. Dustin Rhodes is another one who now is up to a major star rating. He's got 79 popularity all in America here. Increasing popularity there, as you see. Definitely kind of got the jump from March to April. And he's kind of been there. And then in July to August, got another big jump once he started feuding with Brian Pillman over the U.S. title. So that's obviously a good one there. As you see some of the other ones here, obviously Eddie Guerrero still up there in major star status, still up there upper 70s rating wise here. Lost a little bit of popularity from when he was the United States champion, but not enough that it's like a huge, like, oh man, he's clearly declining kind of thing now. He's still there. He's still up there popularity wise, still having success, all that. Let's see. Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn is one that has always been an interesting one that I've taken on as a pet project recently. So obviously, as you can see, Jerry Lynn, popularity wise, not great. He's not doing great. He's getting up there. I'll give him that. His popularity is increasing, but it's going to be a slow build. That's kind of why, even though I've said that the New World Order don't have sets, specific set people within it, that's why kind of Sean Waltman and Jerry Lynn have kind of been made the unofficial tag team of the group, because I needed somebody who could kind of team up with Jerry Lynn to kind of help bring him up as well. But he is, popularity-wise, he is increasing there, as you see. And then he's also attending the WCW Power Plant, so he's getting that increase. And skill-wise, he's definitely increasing as well. He's definitely continuing to go up. He's a big, he's getting that success in the ring, be able to really kind of get there performance-wise. Psychology still needs a little bit of work, but that's fine. But obviously, his entertainment skills are a little rough. They are increasing as time goes on, and that's because in this game, obviously, without him cutting promos consistently, he's slowly increasing them. Part of that is because of the power plan, and part of that is just him being part of segments that's slightly increasing his stuff as time goes on. So obviously the entertainment part is going to be a little bit rough too, but the good news about the entertainment part is that I don't have to worry about him cutting promos as much because he's got Ted DiBiase who can speak for him. I mean, granted, Ted DiBiase speaking for the entire group, but with like Bret Hart and Paul Levesque, they can speak on their own. Sean Waltman can even kind of speak on his own. Jerry Lynn can't, so that's why Jerry Lynn's kind of more of the quiet Chris Benoit of the New World Order, where he's the quiet guy who just goes out there and just has a great match and doesn't really ever say much. Although obviously in real life, Benoit had a fair amount of promos in WCW as well. But yeah, Jerry Lynn's kind of being built up that way, and we'll kind of see. We'll kind of see how it continues to play out. Jesse James, obviously, who is in rehab for the next 5.5 months. Don't remember if I actually leaked that or not. He got injured, but I don't remember if I actually gave the actual reason why he was out for so long, but he's in rehab right now. But popularity-wise, he was getting built up. Had a pretty good jump there for a while. He was getting there, but now he's in rehab, so we're gonna have to kind of see how he comes back, see if he's okay from that at all. Johnny B. Bad, another one who's kind of well known. He's kind of there, but he's not there. He hasn't really been part of any big things. And in fact, as you see, his popularity's kind of stayed about the same. Not really part of big things, but we'll kind of see how that continues to play out. Lord Steven Regal's another one who's kind of a somewhat pet project of mine. He's one that's definitely been building up as time goes on, as you see there, from the 40s all the way up to now the 70s after a year's time. He's one that I have some future plans with, for sure. He's going to be a good star there. A lot of these skills are really great right now. Technical is through the roof. Psychology, he can help carry a lot of other people to, psychology-wise. Entertainment-wise, he's got the skills right now. So it's one of those things that he can definitely, if I was to start pushing him right now in a way bigger capacity, which, to be fair, he's being pushed right now, he's being pushed pretty big. He's currently kind of part of the Lex Luger Sting feud, in the sense that him and Luger are still kind of fighting with each other and getting involved with each other over the last few weeks. But he's still kind of, he's still getting involved with stuff and kind of seeing how that plays out. Ming, who actually, slight spoiler, Ming, who just returned from his injury, like literally would, if I choose to, the first episode he will be available for booking again will be this coming up one. So he's officially back. We'll have to see how things play out when I decide to bring him back exactly, and how things play out with that. If there's any of these people who I might be skipping over that you want to specifically see, let me know. I might be able to kind of show you brief stuff in future episodes. Paul Levesque, obviously increasing, especially once he came to WCW. He's definitely been increasing popularity-wise. He's obviously kind of the present star, so to speak, of the New World Order. He's the one who clearly is seen as a guy who's got it and will be a future star, but is also kind of there right now. He still has a little bit of work to get to before he can get to, actual like big time stats, like he, does great performance in the ring kind of thing, but he's getting there. That's what's important. So yeah, some of these other names that you see here, not a lot of them that I was going to go over, except for Steve Austin, of course. Austin, 80s popularity, still killing it. A little bit of a dip from over the summer, but I'm, not complaining at all. He's definitely still killing it right now, still doing great. Skill-wise, all the skills are still increasing, still going on to be what is, clearly what's going to be a bigger name in WCW's recent future. One of those guys that you wouldn't be surprised to potentially see the world title around over the next, sometime in the next couple of years. Not that I'm spoiling plans, but obviously he's kind of at that point where it's clear that he's right there as a big star, kind of leading the charge for WCW against the New World Order right now and all that. Sting, of course, still up there, still number one. Skill-wise, I think he might... No, okay, so stamina, he's kind of plateaued. So he's kind of at that point where, 6 months to a year from now, he might start declining stamina-wise. So he's going to get to the point where it's going to be kind of harder to push him as the megastar of the company, which, I mean, storyline-wise, it made sense for Bam Bam to cash in, but that's also why Sting didn't get the world title back. I feel like, not that I'm going to keep him from ever winning the world title again. That's not true. But the thought process of pushing him as the number one guy in the company is a little bit less now. Because he is kind of getting to that point, at least in TEW's mind, he's getting to that point where he's not going to be able to be the top guy, week after week, going out there and having fantastic matches over and over again kind of person. So yeah, he's definitely going to be, he's definitely still going to be featured a lot, obviously, but he's that kind of thing. Because pulling back the curtain just a little bit there when it comes to Sting, the original plan was that Bam Bam Bigelow was going to cash in his World War III championship opportunity, win the belt, and then a few weeks later, he was going to drop it back to Sting. So that way we could at least write off the fact that World War III happened, that the winner won the belt, but that he couldn't keep the belt. But then when they went to go have the match, or around the time they started having the match, Bam Bam Bigelow started getting really good in-ring performances. Sting was kind of right there with him. And that's when I kind of decided, because I was already planning on turning Lex Luger heel, because the original plan was that Bigelow was going to drop the title back to Sting, and then we're going to have a little bit of a feud between Sting and Luger for the world title. Then some stuff changed with, some stuff changed, and so then I kept the title on Bigelow. Still went forward with the Sting versus Luger thing, as we've seen, but decided not to feature the world title as part of it. So there is that. And then you see some of the other people we've brought in as well on this list here. We brought in Taka Michinoku recently under a handshake deal, kind of see what he can do. And some other people along the way. So yeah, that's roster-wise. Stable-wise, we've got a few groups still. We've got the New World Order, obviously. Hugely important part of WCW. Decent momentum. We've got the Armstrongs, even with Jesse James out right now. We've got the Blue Bloods, which is basically just Eden and Regal at this point, and Eden's still hurt, so we're not sure what's going on with him. Squire Dave Taylor left the company a few months back, I believe. And of course, the Four Horsemen, which as of right now is still these four because Diamond Dallas Page has not been officially accepted into the group yet. Storyline-wise, we have some storylines going on. I don't think it's going to spoil anything to look at this, but we got an American Male storyline going on right now. Randy Savage and Cactus Jack still have their storyline going on right now. There's reasoning behind it. We have the Cruiserweight division that we're slowly starting to build up. Not a confirmation that there is going to be a Cruiserweight championship anytime soon or anything like that, but just kind of building up the Cruiserweights in WCW. The Invader storyline, obviously. On Saturday night, we've been doing a bit of a storyline between the Outlaws and Simply Wonderful. So that's been a thing there. TV title storyline, which you guys have been seeing on Nitro recently. Obviously, the U.S. title that we've been seeing recently. Women's division still is a storyline, just kind of keeping them relevant. And, of course, the world title itself being a storyline there as well. Which actually, now that I just realized that, now that we're bumped up to big size, we need 5 storylines with more than 65 feet, and we're currently failing that. So that's not going to be good for us. We have 4 right now, so we need to get one more up there, or we need to quickly develop one. So I don't think some of these other ones that aren't there are going to be able to get that. So I might have to start breaking off a few of these. Some of these ones have like bigger group ones behind it, so I might have to start breaking some of them off and put them into separate storylines to kind of keep building them up, especially now that we need 5. Titles, as you've seen, active. There we go. As you've seen over the year, we've had some champions go on. Of course, Steve Austin started off as the United States champion. Dropped it to Eddie Guerrero back in November, who dropped it to Brian Pillman back in May. It's currently 81 prestige, which is pretty good. It's been kind of right around there the entire time, with Pillman getting it, bringing it up to 81 at this point. He's had 3 successful title defenses. He's held the championship as of right now for 92 days. Tag team champions, obviously Harlem Heat just won them back, becoming 3-time champions. They've been champions for 14 days now. Of course, the belts started off with Harlem Heat, who lost them at Halloween Havoc last year to the Blue Bloods, who held them for a month until Brian Pillman and Chris Benoit won them. Benoit and Pillman held them for a few months until Bam Bam Bigelow and Vader won them, and then Bam Bam Bigelow and Vader obviously just lost them. Prestige-wise, a little bit of an increase as time has gone on. Just kind of depended on who was holding them at the time, obviously. Bam Bam Bigelow and Vader, obviously, were able to kind of bring those up some as well. Keep them up to 70 and then bring them up to 71. And I'm sure Harlem Heat will probably keep them there. TV title, Chris Jericho is the champion right now. Started off with Alex Wright as a champion until Diamond Dallas Page won it from him. Johnny B. Bad won it. Ming won the title. And then because of his injury, Stevie Ray technically won the championship, only for it to be vacated. And Jericho won it off the vacated part of it. I still have a plan in mind for the Stevie Ray TV title vacating. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so Chris Jericho is currently the TV champion. Prestige-wise, it has been slowly increasing as well. It took a little bit of a dip when Stevie won it and then it got vacated, but, not much of a dip, honestly. And, of course, the World's Heavyweight Championship, Bam Bam Bigelow, the champion right now, held it for 64 days so far, 2 successful title defenses. Flair started off as the champion until he lost it to Sting at Starrcade, and Sting held it for 6 months until he lost it to Bam Bam Bigelow. Prestige-wise, it has been slowly declining, but to be fair, you have it at a 91, and it's not in the hands of Ric Flair right now. Sting kind of caused it to go down a little bit, and then now Bam Bam Bigelow, but it was, even if I kept it in the hands of Ric Flair, it probably would have gone down. Like, even if it was, because Sting is the number 1 guy in the company, and it was still declining. So that prestige was probably a little too high to start off. It probably shouldn't have been that high of a prestige to start off because it was going to start declining regardless. But there's that. Announcers-wise, we could take a quick look in case anybody's ever been wondering. Nitro is being called by Shivani, Bobby Heenan, and Mike Tenay right now. We're not doing any of that second hour changing them out stuff. It's just these 3 just calling the show, calling the entire Nitro. Saturday night has been called by Mike Tenay, Larry Zbyszko, and Dusty Rhodes. And then the events themselves have been called by Shivani, Bobby Heenan, and Dusty Rhodes. We have some other guys on the roster that we had some other guys that we could have used, but I got rid of them as time went on. Let's see, backstage wise, a little bit of red, as you see. But overall, not too bad. Obviously, 100% backstage rating. So people failing drug tests, all of them going to rehab, so that obviously doesn't help. Benoit and Austin have some tension between each other because of a botch move that almost led to an injury a while back. A few people with negative influences, including Brian Pillman, which kind of sucks, but overall, can't go wrong with that for sure. Medical wise, because I don't really show this that often, Arn Anderson still currently on hiatus, out for who knows how long. Big Bubba Rogers is in rehab right now. He's in there for 5.5 weeks, or 5.5 months, that is. Chris Kanyon, who you probably haven't seen for a while, this is why, because he's in rehab right now. He failed a drug test, and he's in rehab right now for another 3 months. Cutie Suzuki, who is managing somebody. She's managing somebody. I don't remember who it is right at the second, but she suffered a torn pectoral outside of our company and can only work angles at this point. James Mitchell. Honestly, James Mitchell is only on vacation because I wanted to... he was starting to get a little miffed about the fact that he wasn't on TV when Ming was out, so I just gave him a vacation so that way we wouldn't have to worry about that. Obviously, and then Jesse James Armstrong in rehab, and then Missy Hyatt also failed the drug tests in rehab as well. 100% of the time when I get somebody who fails on like a hard drug test or a painkiller test or anything like that over, I usually send them off to rehab. I don't test for soft drugs because I don't care if you're getting high, as long as you're not affecting your in-room work. I don't care. So I'm not really seeing anybody like that. And then obviously, steroid-wise, there's a few people on the roster, but we're kind of playing it out as it goes. We can take a quick look at the world around us. Usually every week I talk about WWF because they are our big competitor right now. They're still number one in the world. But we'll kind of look a little bit in depth here as you kind of see the layout. Outside of WWF, of course, we have New Japan, All Japan, and CMLL rounding out the top 5. USWA, which has randomly jumped up to like 7th, is up there. But WWF still running wild. Big size, number one in the world, $30 million. Top events, they have some of their pay-per-views from 95 are still at the top right now with 92 ratings. As you see, not a lot that's happened. I mean, granted, it's only been a few months, but not a lot that's happened. Outside of that King of the Ring 96, not a lot that's happened since we took Bret Hart away from them. In fact, I think the only show, because I think Bret Hart was still technically working for them at King of the Ring. So if we scratch that one, then the only show on this top 20 that didn't feature Bret Hart on it would be SummerSlam 96 down there at 17th, which got an 88 rating. So they are not doing great without Bret Hart. But, they're still kind of up there. As you see, a couple of 100 rated matches in their history, including Shawn Michaels and Warrior teaming up to defeat Jerry Lawler and The Undertaker on an episode of Raw, which is really fucking weird if you think about it, but whatever. So that's kind of their top 20 match-wise rating right now. Obviously, we do not have that kind of skilled matches at this point, but it's a slow build. It's what it is. I'm not looking to constantly have huge matches like this all the time because I have a different style to everything. For one, I don't, it's different rating product-wise and all that, so attendance-wise, and then pay-per-view buy rates and all that for them. Their top 5 right now is Undertaker, who's the WWF champion, Shawn Michaels, who is the face of WWF, Diesel, Ultimate Warrior, and Owen Hart. They got 2 TV shows on air and are the richest company overall. Champions, we'll look at that really quick. Intercontinental champion is Jerry Lawler. He's 2-time champion. Somehow he's the champion again. If you look at that Intercontinental title run or title history, that's something Shawn Michaels held it, and then Jerry Lawler won it from him, and then Tatanka, and then Bob Backlund, and then Jerry Lawler again. So that is currently a bit crazy. King of the Ring was won by Shawn Michaels this year. Royal Rumble was won by Hulk Hogan this year. Women's Championship has been kind of bounced around a little bit there. Akira Hokuto is current champion. Won it from Terry Power, who won it from her originally. So, but we also have Chipurita Sari in there, and then Lalani Kai as well. Tag team champions are Uncle Zebekiah and Jeff Jarrett right now. I know that sounds crazy, but that's apparently the thing. Owen Hart and Yokozuna had him for a while, and then Triple H and Bob Backlund won him. Dropped him almost immediately to Henry O. Godwin and Bob Holly, and now Uncle Zebekiah and Jeff Jarrett are the champions. And of course, the world's champion, Undertaker, went from Diesel to Undertaker to Hogan, and then back to Undertaker. Hogan held it for a month, and then dropped it back to the Undertaker, who's held it for 118 days. Part of that reason being because Hogan got signed away. Speaking of which, we can quickly look at, see how he's been doing there. Because Hulk Hogan, as you see there, is a star in New Japan. He is currently the IWGP World Heavyweight champion. So they did not wait long to immediately give him the championship. Did not wait long at all. His last match that he's had so far, he defeated Riki Choshu to retain the championship. So he's got a few defenses under his belt already. So kind of a weird thing to think about Hulk Hogan working in New Japan, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at around the world-wise right now. Kind of some crazy stuff. Got some good stuff planned in the near future in WCW. Should be some interesting things for sure as we continue into towards the end of 1996, heading into 1997 and beyond. So hopefully you guys continue to enjoy the series. Definitely appreciate all the support you've had for the series, for the channel, all that stuff. And next week, we'll see you for the next episode of Nitro on the Road to Fall Brawl 1996. So take care, everyone.